Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Today's video won't be about a fragrance review or a fragrance list. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a certain very popular topic in the fragrance community, and that's the subject of fragrance maceration. I'll try to quickly explain what fragrance maceration means, and I'll straight up tell you that I am one of those people who believes in fragrance maceration. But I also believe that not all fragrances macerate equally. Let's put it that way. If you Google fragrance maceration, you'll come up with this result. Maceration is the process of allowing the different fragrance oils to blend together in a solvent, typically alcohol, for a period of time. During maceration, the fragrance oils dissolve into the solvent and create a unified scent. So basically, this is the time that it takes for all the notes, all the ingredients that are put into making a fragrance before you actually get your hands on a fragrance bottle. So it doesn't matter if you buy a Dior or a Chanel or something from the Middle East like a Latafa fragrance. The whole process of maceration should happen even before you buy the actual fragrance and it's put into the bottle itself. Now, some people believe that after you've acquired a fragrance and you've allowed some air into the bottle, that process of maceration actually changes not only the scent profile itself, but also help with the performance, meaning that the maceration will help a fragrance to perform better over time and also project harder over time. Now, as I said in the beginning, I'm one of those one of those people who believes that the maceration, the process of maceration, actually helps with the performance and the scent profile of certain fragrances, but not all fragrances. And I'll give you a few examples at that. I'll start with two examples of fragrances that, in my opinion, to my nose, didn't change at all over time. The first one is from the house of Arma, and it's called the Arma Odyssey Mega. Now, this is a clone of YSL EDP. The scent profile itself is quite close to YEDP, probably maybe the closest thing that I've ever smelled clone-wise to YSL EDP. But this fragrance had, initially when I purchased it about 7 months ago, it had one big problem, and that was the performance. This thing just didn't last. It gave me about 5 to 6 hours tops when it comes to performance. So I left this bottle sitting, as I said, about 6 to 7 months in a cool, dark place, hoping that the process of maceration will actually help with the performance of the Odyssey Mega. And I am sort of disappointed to report that this didn't happen, meaning that even after sitting for 6 or 7 hours, the performance issues of the Arma 46 Mega remain the same. So it's just like an average performer at best. We'll also give you another quick example, and that's from the House of Latafa, the Latafa Wood for Glory. This is a fragrance that fortunately does not have performance issues, but this is another fragrance that I've had in my collection for quite a while, and the process of maceration didn't change it at all. Next, I'll give you an example of a fragrance that did change, but it didn't change performance-wise because thankfully, again, this was a fragrance that had good performance since day one, but sort of changed a little bit the scent profile. And I'm talking about the Tour Noir from Al Haramain, which of course is probably the most famous clone of Parfum de Marlis Layton. Now, as I said, this fragrance since day one has had a very good performance, but the changes that I observed with this one since I got it helped by the process of maceration has been about the actual scent profile. Now, I've had this thing for about almost a year now, I think, or maybe a year now. And after having this fragrance for a year, what I noticed is that the process of maceration changed the scent profile a little bit, made it a little bit more sort of denser, a little bit more sort of powerful, made the presence of the fragrance a little bit better. Next, I'll give you two examples of fragrances that when undergoing the process of maceration changed both in this as far as the scent profile goes and also performance wise. The first one is from the house of Ted Lapidus, and it's called the Poker Face. Now, this is a clone of YSL La Nuit de L'Homme. It's sort of a clone with a slight twist to it, but When I initially got this fragrance, the first time I smelled it, I immediately felt that this is very, very close to Lanui de L'Homme. Now, after having this one for about 4 or 5 months, the maceration helped with the scent profile. The fragrance has become even closer. The scent has become even closer to Lanui de L'Homme, but also the maceration helped with the performance. Initially, I was getting about 5 to 6 hours of performance out of this fragrance, and now, as I said, 4 or 5 months later, this thing gives me 6, 7, even up to 8 hours of performance. And the second example of a fragrance that changed with maceration, changed both the scent profile a little bit and the performance, is from the Lattafa Ram Silver. This one is a clone of Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultramont. Now, initially, when I got this fragrance, immediately after spraying it, I felt that this, of course, is a clone. I could tell that of Ultramont, but initially it missed a little bit of that pure sweetness that the original is known for. Here, the dominant sweetness came from the vanilla note. The pure was somewhere in the background. Now, 6, 7 months later, down the road, I can safely say that the maceration has helped with the scent profile, bringing out more of that pure sweetness and making this one closer to the original scent. The other way that maceration helped is with the performance. Initially, I was getting about 6 to 7 hours of performance out of the Lattafa Ram Silver, and now, as I say, 6, 7 months later, this thing easily gives me 8 to 9 hours of performance. So this is another example of how maceration can help both with the scent profile and the performance. And in the end, just to summarize things up, as I said in the beginning of this video, I'm one of those people who believes in fragrance maceration. So my advice to people who get a new fragrance and are disappointed maybe by the scent profile or maybe by the performance, just give that fragrance a bit of time. Give it a second chance. Don't be quick to get rid of that fragrance. And so, guys, in today's video, I talked about fragrance maceration. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future content. Stay safe, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye bye.